Hello and welcome into MFL with Laird. I am Andrew Laird, joined today by an absolute legend of the game, Sid. You are a legend in multiple games that I play. Actually, we I think we know each other originally from So Rare, and it's MFL that brings us together today. And I come to you at a time where maybe MFL is not your most favorite game, or at least how the the current game is being played. But thank you very much for coming on today.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be on. Glad to be on as well. I know there was a shout out from Hammer saying, "Oh, I'm a very big fan of Let's hosting and show." So, great to be on the show. MFL might not be my favorite game at the moment. We'll find out why.
Yeah, I have so many questions that I wanted to ask you. And the funny thing is, the struggles, presumably the struggles that you've had this season, come at a, come at the same time where I thought the sky was falling after I lost every single opening match in like every club I had lost on the opening day, I think, or I certainly didn't win a game. And you came to me and you were like, "Hey, try this." And it was some tactical setup, and I tried it, and my teams just started flying. And I was like, "Well, Sid's figured my teams out." And then I saw kind of what happened to Los Galacticos in Diamond, and I was like, "How did he figure? How did he solve all of my problems, but seem to have struggled with his own teams?" Before we get into that, you had an incredible season 11 with Los Galacticos. And it took basically a historic effort from Ronan to take the Diamond title. What was it about season 11 that worked so well for you?
Season 11 was amazing. I feel it was a little bit more balanced than what it is right now. I know the narrow formations were absolutely cooking in season 11, but even with that, I was able to figure out certain things that were working with the wider setup as well, both in terms of wingers, wide mids. So there were a mix of things that I got going with Los Galacticos. And I think from a squad composition perspective, it kind of worked out really well because I try to play a variety of different formations for the unpredictability factor, and also it's more fun that way. You're not against the wall with just one setup.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work, your season goes downhill, right? So ever from season 3 or 4, I started building squads in a way to at least accommodate 4 to 5 different formations. And with season 11, it seemed to be going incredibly well. The 3-4-3s were working, 4-2-4s were working. These are like absolute aggressive setups, if you may. And a lot of people don't use it in Diamond as well, right? So they always go a little bit more conservative than having three defenders and 7 attackers with the 3-4-3. But everything was working really well. Again, Ronin had a phenomenal season. I think he was 10-1-0 mid-season, and Bob goes 11-0-0. So if if there is one good thing to come out of this season from Diamond for me is, even if I had an equally good season similar to season 11 this time around, I would still be trialing. So even like with more points, yeah, 31 for Ronin and 33 for Bob. So, but again, I mean, Titans run-in was really fun. Went up until the final, and Galacticos was again outplaying everyone up until the final. And final was a good game. I think it ended 3-4 in favor of Big Will. But yeah, I mean, all in all, was a successful season. Unfortunately, no silverware, but from an MFL return perspective, it was around 50 to 60% higher than my previous couple of seasons at that point.
That's wild. Yeah, it's I always found it kind of interesting the way that you and Bob are so formation flexible, and you've talked on lots of different shows about how you really like playing that way, and I think I don't know if it's because of the unpredictability that you're kind of putting onto your opponents, or it's just like, hey, it's kind of fun to just see what works and what doesn't. Do you think that the changes for season 12 made it so that there were just fewer formations that actually worked? Like I ask this because it felt like, and I've mentioned this a couple times, including like yesterday in the pack drop stream, that it just felt like with my teams for the most part, because I almost never played a 4-3-3, and it felt like everybody was trying to play 4-3-3. That the previous 3 seasons, really, I felt like I was at a disadvantage because I didn't play it, and I obviously see effectively the winger nerf in the current engine. And now I'm like, okay, I'm having more success. Granted, I give all of my success credit to you for fixing my tactics, but the fact that 4-3-3 isn't so dominant. But that being said, it's not like you were playing 4-3-3 every match. Ronan wasn't playing 4-3-3 every match, and so maybe it was a me problem anyway. But what did you see kind of right away coming into season 12 where you were like, uh-oh, this is going to be different?
No, I was actually really positive coming into season 12 because the first or second day of testing, right after season 11 was done, gave myself a short break, then started running some friendlies once the new engine was in place. Second day, maybe into third day, I figured out the wide mids were the way to go already. I told Brian, who's running the Platts squad for me, we had a discussion and he tested out with similar variables. And if he's in agreement, he's my like confirmation bias kind of go-to person. If he says, okay, it's working, then I'm fairly comfortable with that. But again, I still am not able to figure out why Galacticos part of it isn't working. I know my top 2 players in Galacticos are my wingers. One is 98 rated left winger. The other one is 97 rated. So those are my talismanic figures when it comes to Galacticos. But again, I do have other pieces who have worked really well. But for some reason, it hasn't been going at all, at least from a league perspective. Again, I'll give you a scenario, right? When I tell you, like, beginning of season, day 1, prior to the kickoff, by mid-season, you would have played 66 games, you would have won 52, drawn 8 games, lost 6. Would you take that?
Yeah, let's go.
That's where I am right now. I'm still not happy though. But yeah, I mean, a larger part of it is the Galacticos like mid-table position, which is kind of annoying. But my other teams are flying. I mean, again, very similar base recipe or base setup. They're doing really well, and all of my squads are built similarly to play all the formations. So out of the 6 squads I run actively, only one team doesn't have wingers, but the other 5 does. So the 18-19 players are very similar in terms of profile, in terms of playing out 8-9 different setups if I have to, and the other teams are flying. There's only been one defeat outside of Diamond within the other 5 teams, and most of it is come in Diamond. So I'm still not able to figure out what's going on. But on the positive side of things, Titans has been going really well, 5-1-0. I'm playing Jimbo in the first knockout round, so that's going to be fun. But yeah, I wanted to take that short break to kind of give myself a breather and to go all out for Titans and hopefully a second spot in the diamond table as
well. So separately, I apologize to everybody. We're 10 minutes in. I haven't welcomed anyone. I got really excited about peppering Sid with questions. So James was in 4 hours early, probably just before he went to sleep, on the podium with Kev and SR Monkey. So thank you guys for coming in. SR Burrows here, Big Mr. K, Toby's in, Dobbsy, Bob Flynn, Jimbo, Dan, Jack, and Amreezy. I think that's everybody. All right. Sorry. Thank you. I'm going to go. I have so many questions. So let's go back to your preseason testing. And I don't know. I feel like you're very open about your testing, and so I'm hoping that I don't walk you into saying something you don't want to say. Feel free to just be like, I'm going to keep that one to myself. But you said you obviously do a lot of testing, and going into season 12, you were like, within a day or two, I figured out that wide mids were going to be better this season. What's your process of doing that? Is it just starting? Here's my base, run some friendlies with that, and then start tinkering, or like what's the? I think because you have such flexibility in terms of formations, you can obviously test a lot of formations with players that are meant to play there, as opposed to just, oh, let me try a 4-3-3 even though I don't have any wingers. Like that doesn't make sense. So what's your process like going into a brand new season of let me figure out this engine?
It usually starts off with one setup. So I start off with, let's say, 4-3-3-D. So whatever that has been really working well from the past season. I have saved my tactics. I think I shared a screenshot before as well. It says 4-3-3-D season 11 version 4. So everything is version controlled. So just to make sure what is the latest and greatest that's working. So I carry forward that into the new engine, and that starts off as my base. I see how many or what are the things that work well, what are the things that don't work well. And I also try the extremes as well. 0 depth, 100 width, contrasting styles, to see if I can catch anything that stands out from the previous engine to the newer engine. So I start off with one setup and usually run around 40 to 50 friendlies minimum, just with that one setup, to see what are all the variables that give enough amount of information to be able to concretely say this is doing well and this is not doing well. And again, there are outliers. There are no consistent outcomes in terms of results. I don't focus on the results much. It's more about the other stats, the shots conceded, the shots taken, XG not so much. But it's more about the defensive aspect of things and the offensive aspect. And again, even going in a layer deeper to see what in the defensive side of things works well with just tinkering those setups, and same thing with attack as well. So once I go through the first 50, 60 games, it kind of gives me a baseline to work off with. And from that point on, it's about trying different formations with different players to see, again, do I need a significant change from a 4-3-3 to a 4-1-2-1-2 per se, or the 3 at the back as opposed to 5 at the back? So I think I ended up running, I want to say, close to maybe 400 to 500 ish games before match day one. And there are like a couple of great websites now which lets you analyze all the data. Like there's a consolidated amount of data available. Previously, it had to be documented manually and go in and look into each game. But I think MFL Edge is the name of the website, which you could select the last 200 friendlies or 100 friendlies, and it dissects all the data that you want. So that was really helpful. And yeah, that's where it basically starts preseason.
Do you purposely play the let's call the first 40 to 50 friendlies? Are those similar opponents, or do you diversify the actual opponents as well?
It's one of 3 opponents. It's
Okay.
either Ronin, it's Bob, or LFE, which is run by Kev. So Ronin and Bob are really strong, and they usually have their like primary setups available to go for the friendlies as well. And Ronin is testing in parallel, so I for a fact know it's not his dummy tactic setup. Which during the season it might be the case, but so it's Ronin, Bob, and LFE. Kind of from a power curve distribution perspective, it covers from the very top up until mid-table. So it's a good kind of ballpark for me to know if my players are working against those 3 opponents.
So I pulled up Los Galacticos earlier, and there were a bunch of friendlies against Meta Mercenaries going on. Are you setting those, or is that Ronin?
Might be Ronin.
And
If
are
it was
you
today, it was Ronin, definitely. I think I ran like a couple of friendlies maybe yesterday evening, and that's about it. But I did see Ronin testing out quite a bit, and he was diversifying into a 4-2-2 as well when I last looked.
so? Are you? Do you look at friendlies run against you at all?
I do. I do. Again, I do use the same data, same site as well. But again, one unknown here is Ronin could be making a bunch of tweaks as well. Uh, and this, again, could be my dummy. So, not to take so much into account. But I definitely favor looking at the friendlies that I initiate as opposed to what's initiated against me.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And obviously, when you run friendlies, you're probably using some sort of formation and tactic, like because of your formation, um, your variable formations, like getting one random against 4-1-3-2. You may not play 4-1-3-2 again for weeks.
Yeah,
um,
yeah, it is that. Yeah, I mean, again, this 4-1-3-2, I think I do have like one of the extreme setup, just so that again, if there are friendlies initiated, it could be a data point to look at if something interesting shows up as a pattern. But again, it's not so much that I can lean on to compared to, like you mentioned, the friendlies that I initiate, because it is easy for me to run 5 friendlies, tweak a parameter, run the next 5, so on and so forth, and easy to capture data that way. But I don't know how to, I mean, from a technical perspective, you're in control of your input as
mhm.
opposed to Ronin here.
Right. Yeah. So, what's your, let's say from the end of season 11 through the end of season 12, what percentage of the total friendlies that you run are happening before the first game, like preseason, basically during, as opposed to during the season?
That's a good question. I would say roughly 70-30, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
70 or 75 pre-season or pre-match day one. Uh, and I try to not do a lot during the season because I feel there will be a lot of knee-jerk reaction happening to a loss or a couple of losses. So again, the base recipe, I definitely want to zero in on it and set it up pre-match day one. From that point on, it's very minor tweaks. I don't want to like change anything drastically and then go back to the drawing board, and all of those 500 friendlies mean nothing at that point,
Right.
right? So I definitely want to shy away from that. So yeah, I would say 75% overall.
And the the friendlies during the season, are those, like, understandably, if your teams are struggling, maybe you want to test some other things out just because your results aren't going as well, and so you want to be able to see if you can find something else that's going on. Do you find yourself ever running friendlies like against expected formations you're about to face, or do you not do that kind of opponent? I guess I'd call it research.
Uh, I mean, we do have that flexibility, right? I mean, our community is really good in that way, and we have a Discord group that's running, which is, I want to say, buzzing like 24 hours, because when we are sleeping, there is Hammer sending all kinds of information out.
Yeah.
So it helps a lot in terms of Bob being able to set up a formation, or Kev being able to set up a formation that I want to test against. And that gives, again, a lot of valuable information. So if I am facing, let's say, a Dio who primarily used to run a 4-3-3-D, then I'd request Bob to set up a strong 4-3-3-D, test it against it, and see what is effective and what's not. Again, it might not be like for like, because Dio's left winger would, let's say, if he is stronger than Bob's left winger, then I may have to tweak those settings a bit. But again, from a baseline perspective, it gives a good indicator of what is the formation that's working. and
Mhm.
then from there just make subtle differences and go ahead and set it up for the actual game.
So Los Galacticos in the Diamond League this season. Um, at what point did you just say, Brian, I'm going to need you to take this over?
So we were the Titans knockout round, or the progression was pretty much sealed. I think we were 4-0 at that point. The league wasn't going as well. There was one loss, one draw, one win. It was all over the place. It wasn't a consistent showing. Uh, and Bob was like 8-0 as well. He was
Mhm.
24 points, like maximum possible at that point. And I had thrown in the towel in terms of the Diamond League race. So I felt I wanted to take a week's break because there's mid-season and the 3 or 4 games prior are leading up to that as well, and hoping to focus on the Titans from mid-season on. Uh, and Brian is again very flexible. He has a very similar style, might not be the right word. He focuses a lot more on defense, but from a formation flexibility perspective, he's someone who can roll out any formation. He
Hmm.
favors five at the back. Jimmo might hate seeing that or saying that, but I wanted him to run it for some time to see defensively if Galacticos can be strengthened as opposed to the first 7 or 8 games, which was leaky throughout.
Hmm. So that's what you found that was more of the issue, that you were having defensive problems?
Uh, Defensively, it wasn't airtight as I would have liked it to. Bob was conceding much lesser goals. LFE, which is the Kev squad, was conceding lesser goals as well. I think at one point, both of them had 6 goals conceded, as opposed to Galacticos, which had 12.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
so I felt there was something that was missing. So kind of wanted to see if Brian was able to fix that. Uh, but again, I mean, results wise, it is kind of a similar pattern. I'm a strong believer, again, this might be a tinfoil hat. I'm a strong believer that there is a momentum factor uh, in the game, in the cup separately and in the league separately. So whatever you do, if you're not off to a strong start, you'll just stop, stumble throughout. And if you hit a purple patch, you usually go on a 4 or 5 game run as well, right? So I call it momentum or the form factor, which I feel is strong for Titans. So again, a second place finish is definitely possible in the league, but focus on Titans and maybe use the rotational pieces in the league is the approach forward.
So I knew that Diamond was close this season, but I just didn't, like, you're sitting sixth right now at 17 points. Second is literally 19. Like, that is crazy close outside of Bob. Like, um, and so, we obviously can't sleep on literally winning 11 of 11. Shout out to Jimbo for the lone blemish on Bob's record this year or this season. How much are you still kind of involved in the daily tactics of Los Galacticos?
I mean, we definitely discussed it throughout. Brian always like gives suggestions on what is the best 2 or 3 options available, and we pick and choose. And one of the things that again we wanted to kind of do is ensure the fitness is back up as much as possible.
Hmm.
So the fifth game in Titans was kind of a throwaway lineup. There were players out of position, not an optimal formation. We kind of knew we would end up losing, but again, recovering the goalkeeper fitness, the wide mids fitness, fullbacks fitness was a priority. So yeah, Brian was checking in to see if we were okay doing that, and I did leave the option to him, and my suggestion was do whatever you have to, and if we arrive at the mid-season with a good squad condition, that's what matters. So yeah, there's always ongoing discussions, but it was him choosing the lineups up until like the last game, which I took over, and it ended up on another draw, which was not optimal.
You had mentioned it before. I just want to point this out to people who don't necessarily follow all of this. So Los Galacticos are sixth in Diamond. Your other six teams, one, two, three, four, five. First, 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 first. So is there, like, obviously you were, and you kind of said, like, you couldn't figure out why the success in the other teams wasn't translating over to Los Galacticos. Has there been anything since Brian's kind of gotten more involved there, that you look at and say, oh, this was the problem? Or is it just that Diamond is so competitive that maybe that's all it is?
Yeah, I feel Diamond is really competitive. I mean, if you take Bob out of the picture and look at the table, I mean, it could still be anyone's title to lose, right? So Milano, who's in second place right now, Scrub's team, XVIX runs that. Galacticos beat them a couple of match days back. So the results are all over the place. It is really competitive. And Joga, who's Sturge's team, they started really well. I think they had 2 or 3 wins like in the first 4 games, and they haven't won since. They're like really inconsistent since then, and their formation suits this engine as well. They run a 4-4-2. 4-4-2 is the only formation that Sturge runs, and it suits the engine. So it's a mix of managers evolving, the tactics evolving. Dio switched into a 4-1-3-2 mid-season. As long as I've been in Diamond in the last 3 to 4 seasons, I've never seen Dio not play a 4-3-3D or a 4-3-3A. He's adapted to 4-1-3-2, and other people are doing the same. And one of the other reasons, which I think is primarily making it a lot more competitive, is the other managers coming into the picture. So it's just not Dio running Dio's squad, right? So Big Mr. K, he's running Dio's plat squad, and there's a lot of input going into Dio's diamond squad as well. So that helps. So you're not expecting one play style anymore. So there is a mix of play styles, a mix of formations, and it is getting more unpredictable for sure. So I think all of these are kind of contributing factors to what the table looks like. But Bob just stands out. I don't even know how he is like beyond the normal variance that's happening in the game. It's not easy to go 11-0. I don't even know if it can be repeated in the next few seasons. So yeah, he's definitely an outlier, but 2 to 9 are still very closely packed. It could go up until the last match day and defining who the podium finishes could be.
So are you able to learn anything from the other clubs? They are pretty stacked for the divisions that they're in, which I think happens when you have an agency that is essentially trying to feed a diamond club. But are you able to learn anything from those, or is it the situation with Diamond because it's almost impossible to like stack Diamond? And so can you actually learn anything from the others?
From a tactical perspective, there are like some takeaways, primarily from the cup, because in the cups you are matching against like similar opponents, right? And from a strength perspective, so it definitely helps. At least if I am to make a tweak in the diamond setup, I try to make it in the silver or bronze or silver team first, or even plat, to see how effective that is.
Mm-hmm.
And the cup games give a good indicator because you're facing similar opponents. But again, I mean, there is only so much you can do with diamond. I mean, the resources that are available aren't plenty. If you look at, for instance, I was trying to get a 92 or a 93 goalkeeper for one of the diamond squads next, either for LFE or hopefully Amigos get in there as well. And there are like 1 or 2 options available that is outside of who's owned by Ronin or a Dio or a Sturge who's already there. So they may not be ready to part with those players because they want them to come through their feeder system for their diamond squad. So the options are very few and far between, and yeah, it's really impossible for you to like stack up the diamond squad. Uh, One thing you can get lucky with is progression. So the agency that I've been like focusing on, again, trying to kind of mix it up between a few younger players, a few older but strong progressors, and then see if there are any market opportunities that come up as well. But yeah, in terms of learnings, maybe some here or there, but not much.
Okay. Welcome in, trust the process. Good to see you. Big Mr. K said it's all Dio's work, though. He can't take the credit. And I like this line from Bob. He said, in many ways, the diamond teams are very equal in quality. It's more about the opponent you're facing that drives your success. These are the best managers in the game. So, I mean, surely it should be more and more competitive as you get up. I want to talk about tactics a little bit because with so many different formations that you can play, how drastically are your tactics changing from game to game as well? Or do you have kind of a baseline set of tactics that you run regardless of formation?
It is a little different with some level of baseline. What I mean by that is for all the winger setups, it is somewhat similar. So there is balanced and direct combination for wingers, for example. And for all the wider mid setups, it could be direct and more offensive with a higher depth. So I try to set it up that way so that again a baseline for five at the back will be similar to all five at the backs. Same thing with the three at the backs, and then go from there. The one thing that I do pay quite a bit of note to is how the opponent sets up in terms of their width and their depth as well. So study their last 3 to 4 games and see if they have a narrow attacking pattern or a wide attacking pattern, and if the defensive width for us can be set up in order to counteract that formation. But outside of that, there isn't much changing. So I would say about 90-95% of it is there already. So the other 5 to 10% is what gets tweaked from a game to game basis.
And so do you find yourself focusing more on your opponent's width and depth as opposed to just their formation?
So if I were to pick, let's say 3 things, it would be formation. Formation is primary because that would lead to what the counter formation is going to be. So the formation, the width, the depth, and also who's their strongest player or the focal point of their attack. If it's going to be a left winger or a left mid, do I need to again load up that right side with my like stronger players? So my right center back has to be relatively stronger than the left center back, for instance. So those are some of the things that I look into. And if there are like high volume dribblers, and if I play my right mid who is conceding a lot of fouls or getting booked game in game out, then there's a high probability that he could see red. So how can I kind of counter that? So those are some of the things that I'm looking at. But again, these are like very like for me to set up the diamond lineup, it usually takes, I would say, anywhere between like 45 minutes to an hour, just the lineup part of it. And then the previous night, I look into the opponent's like previous results, at least 3 to 4 games, see if there is a pattern on what they're running in terms of formation and whatnot.
So are there certain formations where you see your opponent is playing whatever formation it is? Are you just right away like, okay, I need to play this formation against that?
Yeah, it definitely comes down to like 2 or 3 options. So it helps to drive down or cut down the options or narrow it down to those 2-3 setups. And if, let's say, again, I mean, for someone like a Ronan who runs 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, right, up until at least season 11, there are only like 2 or 3 formations which could counter that. But again, the squad is super strong, and you just need to be able to uh, throw your dice and hope for the best at that point. So it's not much you can do. But yeah, if someone is like of equal strength, then yeah, definitely helps that way.
Sorry, I keep writing stuff down because I'm going to forget it later when I start doing my own stuff. You talk about how much you like different formations. What do you think is the ideal number of formations that you should be able to run in your team? Is it all of them?
Yeah, I would say all of them. No, I think the highest I've run within a span of one season was 14 or 15.
I remember it was a very high number. Yeah.
Yeah, this was, I think I was talking to Ryan back then. I think that was the highest. And that gave me a lot of flexibility. I would say all, to be honest. Again, the five at the backs, the 5-3-2 is really good this season. And the last season, 5-2-3 was really good because wingers were solid. So definitely want to be able to have those wing back options. So that's why the 18-19 composition that I build, the backup left back or right back usually are able to play as wing backs as well. So even if they're not able to get games in Diamond, they can certainly serve as rotation pieces in Titans. So those five at the backs can be made use of in Titans, or they could be employed as like defensive wide mids as well, which again is a leaf that I've taken out of Brian's playbook. So he often tends to play left back as a left mid. He'll have like 32 shooting, but he's coming out with like an 8.2 rating because he's using him as like a two-way defensive offensive presence with less long shots.
So you're trying to set up a formation to counter your opponent. Is there no thought of just, I'm putting my best team out there, you adjust to me?
I've tried that. I mean, I think season 10 Masters was kind of that approach. The idea was just play 3-4-3 and have the opponents tweak or adjust to you. But I think, at least from a Diamond perspective, my squad doesn't stand out to be able to dominate games that way. If I do give them an insight of saying, hey, I'm going to run 4-3-3 defensive, you come at me, they'll definitely counter and beat the formation. It's not like a Ronin setup or Bob's 3-4-3 back in the day where he has 99 Beckman and 97 wingers to support him. And whatever you throw at him, they'll just score goals. That's why I keep saying when I play Bob, it's a basketball game. It always ends up like a 7-5 score line. It's fun, but it's sweaty that way. But the formation variability definitely gives that unpredictability, adds that unpredictability factor on. Again, people even guess that. I mean, they go into the squad, look at the fitness. If my left back is at 89, then they're like, oh, so the left back isn't playing. So what is the other formations that he can play without the left back? So it will be a 3 at the back or a 5 at the back. So it narrows it down. So yeah, to keep that unpredictability going is a challenge, and it is definitely fun as well.
Kev said he's run 18 formations so far this season.
Yeah, Kev is fun.
God, that's so many. I think I've run like 3.
I think, I mean, if you have a stacked team compared to the opponents, and if you have like the best 11, even like 1 point higher than the opponent, then you can just set up higher depth, just that 4-1-2-1-2 or whatever is meta, and have them come at you, still outscore them. I think there are like very few teams that can do that in Diamond. If 4-1-2-1-2 narrow works as well as it used to, then Ronan does that, obviously, right? So he's just playing that one formation. He may do subtle tweaks to that formation, but again, it's just that one setup. Same thing with Bob as well. Bob has an amazing set of attackers and wide mids. So he can run 4-1-3-2 game in, game out, provided the fitness works out, and the opponents will still find it hard to counter that setup. So except for those two, I think the rest of them, I see it like in three buckets. It's Bob and Ronan in one bucket, then Milano, Galacticos, Dio, and probably Big Will and Kevin, that second bucket. And then there are lower teams who are trying hard to stay up. So those two just stand out, and they can repeat the formation game in, game out, and still beat the teams in the second bucket by quite the margin. And I mean, Bob's record, I mean, every game it's like 4 or 5 goals easy. So it's not an attack that can be contained easily whatsoever.
Yeah, Bob currently at 44 goals, scored 8 conceded in 11 matches. I love this question. Oh, sorry, from Trust. What are the odds that diamond teams get relegated despite a positive goal differential because of beating Sao Paulo?
Yeah, I think there was a 30-0 scoreline that happened like right before the break.
Yeah.
Roma beat them 30-0. That was crazy. But yeah, I mean, Brian was running Sao Paulo, I think, for the first like 4 to 5 match days. And he was looking to sell even before the season started. So the idea was to just hit the minimum requirement, focus on the cup. But for some reason, the person who purchased it, he's all over the place. I think he does have trusts a couple of players in there as well, which is being played out of position. It's an absolute mess right now. And I think people are like planning to just tack against Sao Paulo to secure their own golden boots and individual accolades and whatnot. But yeah, it's fun having 12 competitive teams. Oh, there you go. Just beat. He's sad that he only scored 4 on them.
I mean, you should. Like, Ronan won 15-0. And I think, didn't Bob? Yeah, Bob won 11-0. And I remember seeing that. I'm like, that's ridiculous. And now that's the third highest scoring one so far this season. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those unfortunate things. Oh, and Bob has them next. Do you think Bob scores more than 30?
They did a game on Amrizi's stream. So Amrizi had his Stone Club run against Bob's Diamond team. I think he scored, I don't know what was the final score line, but it was like 8-0 at the 60th minute or something like that. So I don't even know how he was able to score 30.
Because that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, once you get to like 10-11, I think there is like some kind of adjustment that the defense gets a little bit more robust or OP at that point. But I have no idea. I mean, 10 XG and 30 goals, that is a crazy score line in Diamond.
What I think is particularly interesting about it is I've found, and I don't think it's circumstantial, but obviously he has a lot of low energy players in. And I always felt like when you play against a team that's on low energy, it's the second half where you really get them, because presumably they're tired. And and again, it could be just circumstantial that I feel that way, because I can specifically remember playing teams not quite this fatigued, but basically it's like it'll be 1-0 at halftime, and I'm like, how am I not destroying this team? And then it ends 5-6-0, and it's like, okay, that makes sense. If they're fatigued the first 45 minutes, maybe they're fine. But on this one, it was 17 in the first half and only 13 in the second. Only. I guess we had 2 canceled goals as well. Jeez.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think this game was running for about like 20 minutes or so. It kickstarts. The kickoff is at like 5 Eastern or 6 Eastern, I think, after the daylight savings kicked in, and we were on stream, and it was still running like 20 minutes past the hour. And it was like 28-0, and it ended like a few minutes later at 30. But yeah, it is definitely a crazy result. I'm hoping it doesn't come down to goal difference when it comes to the relegation candidates or the playoff candidates, because that will end up being unfair. Because if he keeps running the same 11 or the same squad. I think 6 players are more below 60 fitness the forfeit start. And yeah, you don't want one of the relegation candidates playing at a later point of time and only winning 3-0. And MFC Roma has an advantage of 27 goals over that team because they played them earlier.
And as Kev said, that was the first time they played them. So they'll have I mean, if they don't have let's see, they'll play them again. Is that 4 games? 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I don't think this. Yeah, I don't know what it is, and I agree with Toby that it's odd that he plays guys out of position too. I'm not sure what the point is of any of it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. At this point, I wish just Brian had that squad up at least until the end of the season. The idea is to just grind MFL, get it down to like a gold level license, and then sell it off. And the return was going to be around the same, like 1,200, 1,300. But when the offer came in, I think, 3 seasons down the line would be like 6 months. So the offer was a little lower, but then everything was down now. So it was a no-brainer, and he ended up picking the offer. But yeah, I don't know what the idea is. I mean, that's a license at a club with quite a bit of legacy. I think when Sao Paulo was down in Plat, from the projections, he was like 11th or something when he ended up winning the Plat League and then progressing into Diamond. Just a sad state of affairs to see someone with a club with such a history going down this way.
Trust said it's weird that he bought it for $1,000, but is putting himself in position to lose the rewards based on how he's playing.
Yeah.
Toby said, I really think if a team has X number of losses, then all of the team's games should be voided to keep the competitive integrity. What number? That's like with forfeited losses, that is. What number should be for the smarter people to figure out? But 3 to 5 somewhere feels good. It is, yeah. David said it's really a shit show Sao Paulo are set up, but the worst part is if he doesn't rotate, he'll just forfeit games 3-0 and for some matches later in the season. Yeah, I would assume that avoiding forfeiting is the priority if you want the MFL.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if he is running the risk of losing MFL, then yeah, I mean, he's not going to yield more than half of that ROI back on what he put up to buy the club. Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm hoping they have some level of guidelines around that. I know there is a min rating requirement, but I still can't figure out the thought process of playing positions or players out of position, not rotating at least your common guys in and trying to play in the cup games and whatnot. He seems to be a trader. I think I've seen him buy players relisted right away, but just lacks logic at this point.
Yeah, I think the other thing that we kind of ignore on this, though, Kev said it's only fair if everyone gets the standard 3-0 win, is that every team can also heavily rotate against him. And so even getting like the goal differential itself is going to cause the issues. But now that, if you play Ronin after you play Sao Paulo, you can rest everybody and be full, but not everybody has that same situation. And so even that, from that respect, it just throws off. And I agree, it just shouldn't happen in the top league. I agree, David.
Yeah, I think, one of the major things is it comes down to the goalkeeper rest in Diamond, right? Every other position or players, you're able to effectively rotate without losing much in terms of the strength. Mm-hmm. But goalkeepers are usually like 5, 6 or more rating points down. So that was one of the points that Bob was making. He's playing him right after the break. So that gives him a minimum of 10 more league games, untightened games to go. So even if he rests his goalkeeper, he may need him to rest him for one more game. Mm-hmm. Again, Bob's won the league, but that is applicable to the other folks as well. So if the fixture against Sao Paulo falls right in the middle of the season, it is favorable. But if you're playing him either early on or really late in the season, then yeah, it might end up costing you a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a weird one. That's really weird. Let's get back to your kind of agency here. Is there like how long do you think this goes on of having Brian run? Like, are you with season ending and you're like, I'm going to try to figure this out, or yeah, what's your plan here?
No, I think I'm going to start running from now on. I mean, right after we kick off, once the season or mid-season break is over, I think I'm going to take up the games for sure. Uh, the league, again, just 2 points off second. At this point, I'm just trying to yield as much MFL as possible. And I've kind of started planning for the next season already in terms of transfers and whatnot. So I kind of laid out a chart in a way to kind of prioritize the positions to get or buy. So even the 200,000 or 100,000 MFL that comes in extra for one step higher is going to get a Lego player or more, right? So that's going to help quite a bit. So yeah, the focus is going to be hopefully silverware in Titans, but then try to get as high as possible in the league as well. Second place finish would be amazing, but yeah, at this point, I would take even like a third or even fourth.
Yeah, I mean, it's a drastic. We were talking about how close it is from second to ninth, basically, and it's a significant MFL difference from in that. I mean, it's like 1.03 million for second, and what is that? 445,000 for ninth. Like every spot really matters, and the top three is just like that podium is. Man, so much MFL.
It is. Yeah, it is, no doubt. I mean, top 3 to 4 is a significant drop. So yeah, I mean, if you're able to finish on the podium, that is great. My projection right now stands at 1.5 million, and I'm hoping it stays that way or goes a little higher, because I'm starting to make plans around the 1.5 million in terms of trading and whatnot. So.
Mhm.
Yeah, fingers crossed that second half of the season is a little better than how it ended mid-season.
Do you think that it's going to be different when you take it back? Like, have you looked at what Brian's run and had some success with? Or, I mean, you guys obviously talk all the time, so I don't. It's not like there are any hidden secrets that you're going to find. But is it? Do you feel more confident now?
I don't know if confident is the right word, but a little bit more reinvigorated, just a little energized
Okay.
because of that break. So I think up until I lose the next like 2 or 3 games, I think this is going to sustain. So that's the idea. But yeah, I'm trying to approach it a little differently now
Okay.
that we know that wide mids are working really well. I may revert to seeing I'm going to roll out a wide mid formation. It's going to be either 4-1-3-2 or 4-1-4-1 and let the opponents come at me. So that is something that I might do during the second half. And Titans schedule looks or the fixtures look a little okay as well. I got Jimbo first. It might be Dio and then Ronan in the semis. Uh, Again, winnable. Good thing is Bob is on the other side of the bracket, and then I mean I won't be facing him up until the finals at least. So a little bit hopeful that run can extend deep into the tournament. So fingers crossed on that.
Man, this is such like a huge cup. It's crazy. Like, yeah. Um, do you? So we get through this season. Do you start your preseason, off season, let's call it, completely fresh, or is it? Do you say whatever I finished doing on at the end of season 12? Is that where your testing starts, or you literally start like brand new of whatever formation you want?
Yeah, I think we'll probably start there. I think 4-1-3-2 will be a starting point, since that seems to be like the one formation which is working really well. So I'll pick 2 to 3 setups which has worked really well so far this season and go from there. And again, I mean, if it reverts back to wingers being really meta or narrow setups being really meta, that will show right away. Because 4-1-3-2 is not going to be working as well as a 4-3-3, for
Yeah.
instance. So the trick or the hope is to crack that as early as possible, so you have that uh, primary formation which is working really well, and then start doing tweaks from that point on. uh, we'll see. I mean, we haven't had any communication regarding the engine or the changes that's going to be happening yet as well. So once we find out what kind of tweaks are coming from a developmental standpoint, see if there are any learnings there, and then go start some friendlies at that point on. But yeah, I mean, it depends on how the season finishes as well. I know Bob mentioned he took a very nice like 2 week break, didn't do any preseason whatsoever, came back, did 11-0. So maybe that's the trick.
There you
Just
go. Yeah,
take a long extended break and come back on match day one. That I should try to approach it one way, but my OCD wouldn't let me do that. I just keep hitting start friendly and just looking at the data. I just need to shy away from that for a few days. We'll see.
yeah. Do you like how much effort are you putting into your other teams?
Up until now,
Excuse me.
not so much. The silver team. So the idea was every one of the licenses from silver on down is an Indian-based license. The idea or hope was one of the licenses to get up to a gold or a plat level, and at some point in the future, try to switch it and get one of those teams into diamond. I don't know how feasible that's going to be, but the men in blue one, I definitely want it in plat soon. It is right now a gold level squad. It is set up that way to get into gold soon. But again, I mean, depending on the acquisitions in the off season and the progressions, obviously, hopefully can get it into plat as well within the next like 3 to 4 seasons. Uh, but the other squads, I think, should kind of settle down in terms of the power or the power creep or the strength overall. I think they're one level up right now. So anything that is bronze and down, once they get to the next division, I think most of them will switch into a mid-table side, and they will be rocking the same players going forward. I
Right.
don't have any intent to strengthen them and push them up further, but it'll be a nice setup to kind of have players coming through. At least the strong progressors just try to plug into the next level, and hopefully one or two of them can crack into a diamond level as well, which is a lot because I haven't really had like one player playing at gold head into a diamond yet. But
Mm.
that's the hope.
So, because you use so many different formations, is it like do all of these teams end up playing different formations on different days just because based on their opponents?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that feels like a
I
lot of work.
don't yeah, I don't spend a lot of time on the other teams though.
Okay.
I do look at the opponents, let's say like 5-10 minutes at most, just see what formation they're playing, and then the base recipe just follows in, just tweak the formation, then that's pretty much it. I don't go in and look into the individual stats of the opponents as to who's their goal scorer. Do I need to change the center backs around? Do I need to play a different wing back to contain the winger? I am not doing all of that in any other squads except for Galacticos.
Yeah.
So all the other teams probably would take me maybe 25 to 30 minutes together, and Galacticos is probably like double double that.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Um, because you play so many different formations, do you, and based on on Los Galacticos, if you could have a formation that would be the meta that you could play perfectly, what formation would you want?
if I can have one formation that could play, I would pick 3-4-3. 3-4-3 flat, not the diamond version, I
Mhm.
think would be my go-to. That's the formation that won me Masters. That's the formation that gets my all of my white players who are my strong suite in terms of the strength playing together. Uh, so yeah, that would be my go-to. If it was based on this meta, if I could roll one formation game in, game out, if fatigue was not a thing, then I would pick a 4-1-3-2.
Hmm. So, how are you feeling for the rest of the season for Los Galacticos?
Uh, bit. I mean, I'm definitely optimistic. The good thing is it's just 2 points of second. So I'm hoping to go for the second spot or the minimum get a podium. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, the good thing is again there are some takeaways from playing other formations as well, right? So there's always the theory floating around that something shifts or changes mid-season. So playing 4 or 5 different formations within one match day, if there is something that changes, then that is something that can be captured from one of these games. Uh, so yeah, I mean, whoever is the earliest to hop onto the train of the meta, I guess wins. But yeah, we'll see. I'm definitely hopeful. I'm hoping to get into the final four of Titans and a podium finish in the league. If yeah, that's my expectation at this point of time.
Um, what is it like? You talk to Bob, you talk to Kev, you guys compare a lot of this stuff, and Brian, although I'm going to separate Brian for a minute here. What's it like talking to them a lot about tactics and formations and then having to face them in the Diamond League?
It is tricky. Not going to lie. It's a mixed feeling for sure. I mean, Kev's team has a lot of players from both me and Bob. So we always joke around saying, "Hey, Coleman, who's from my agency, is going to score on me. He's going to score on me, and he's going to take 3 points away." It's tricky for sure. The one thing that we try not to do is run friendlies against each other like pre-match or pre-match day. So for the last like 24 hours or so, we try not to run friendlies. Uh, and also the formation reveal doesn't happen up until the lineups get put out as well. So we try to make it or keep it as competitive as possible. And LFE was a little relatively weaker last season. Last season was the first season for Kevin Diamond, but right now he's got a very nice squad. Unfortunate for him, his two strongest players are wingers. He's got two ultimate players, and those two are left wing and right wingers. But he's still doing well. So yeah, we're trying to maybe in the near future like seal all 3 spots in podium, but we'll see if we can make it happen.
That would be fun for sure. Do you chat with them after your matches against each other to see like any learnings, or do you guys have to do that on your own?
I mean, as of right now, we haven't shared the actual tactics. I don't know how Bob is set up exactly. He may give out some information on just one variation here or there, but
Mhm.
there isn't really uh, the exact like screenshot of this is how I'm set up and try to play it. I mean, it'll be unfair for both of us because I mean, I could be playing him in the future in the second round of league stage or even in the finals of Titans.
Sure.
So we don't try to share the exact setups. Kev does share some screenshots from the teams lower down because he runs teams like pretty much all divisions or every
Yeah.
division from gold on and lower. So anything that works in one of those teams, he shares screenshots saying, "Hey, give this a go, see if it works." But the actual diamond setups in itself, we try to keep it secret. I mean, Brian can see what I've set up in Galacticos and vice versa, but except for us two, everything is just confidential up until the season finishes.
Kev said, I think Bob will tell us when his tactic doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think we got through all of the questions that I had. Yeah.
What are your expectations going into the second half? I know one of the teams is like really close to the top. I think 1 point or 2 points shy of top of the table, I believe.
Yeah. So it's this, my Empire 9 team, I think, is just overperforming. And I don't know why. That's my ultimate problem, is that I look at this, like, I'm the highest scoring team in the league. And that's how I knew that this season was wonky, because I'm almost never a high scoring team. You can tell I give up a lot of goals in this one compared to the teams around me. But yeah, that Empire 9 and then Empire FC's struggling a little bit now. But again, I'm the highest scoring team in the league. I didn't realize how many. 21 conceded. Jeez. So maybe that's got to be my focus now, figuring out how to keep scoring while not being so leaky defensively.
Yeah.
But those are the two teams I care about the most. Patron Saints, I don't even run anymore. At least not this season. We needed somebody much better at this game than me running that team. But yeah, I think like, obviously your help with tactics changed my teams completely. The fact that I've basically been trying to run a 4-1-2-1-2 wide for seasons, and it just wasn't that great. And then finally this season comes and I'm like, finally the engine has caught up to my plans. And it does. I will say that I had this thought early on of trying to set up a couple, like literally like 2, maybe 3 formations that weren't that different, and try to run them throughout all 8 of my clubs. And I think the past 2 seasons really opened my eyes to how risky that is, in terms of, if the engine just says, yeah, wide mids or cams are just worthless. Now it's like, well, all 8 of my teams are set up this way. And so I think I just need to figure out the ways to be more flexible without, like, I'm not smart enough to be able to run 12 different formations. And so if I can get 4 that I think can work really well against most formations I'll face, then that's where I'll focus. But yeah, I think the reason why I asked you about running friendlies mid-season is just something like this: of I've scored 23, which is the most in the league. I've given up 21, which, like, the team in 11th has given up fewer goals than me. And so how much testing should I be doing right now of figuring out just how to give up fewer goals?
No, absolutely. I mean, that is one thing that I'm trying to figure out as well. I mean, how to get a little bit more solid defensively. And again, I try to catch quite a bit of content around tactics. Shout out to YTXP. They've been doing 1 or 2 formations per week, trying to kind of give out pros and cons and what works and what doesn't. And there are like few solid takeaways there in terms of defense. So I'm trying to again see if that tweak can help solidify the defense, and that is primarily the reason why I was running few games a couple of days back and few yesterday as well. I'll ping you the secret sauce once I find it. I might be close, but we'll see. We'll see.
If you could hurry, because Ricky's in first in this league, and we play together. We play against each other tomorrow. So any tips would be appreciated on my end, not as much on Ricky's end.
Ricky's end. Hopefully headed this evening.
There we go.
prior to the kickstart of second half of the season. Yeah, I think one of the takeaway I had from the last episode that they had was running really compact defensive setup, because the comments were, you cannot avoid the crosses coming in.
Yeah.
I tried going 100 width, really opening it up and see if the fullbacks and the wide mids mark the supply coming out from the wider areas. Unfortunately, that's not happening. So maybe go really compact and try winning a lot more defensive duels with the balls that are coming in,
Yeah.
right? And the percentage of crosses, it's so off-putting. I mean, my left mid and right mid, who are again the core of most of the attacks that's coming in, they have like a 19 and a 23% cross success rate, which isn't much different compared to the previous seasons. But again, it is the pre-assists that are happening through those crosses, right? So it's really tricky on how to contain those balls coming in, either the switches or the actual assists that are coming into the box.
Yeah, I think the James kind of mentioned that when I talked to him last week, that he tried to play really wide, just like you said, to try to cut those passes off. That didn't work. So went super narrow, and maybe the defense after that ball gets switched can kind of clog up the middle. That doesn't really work either, because inevitably you get a long ball that goes it doesn't go that wide. It just kind of ends up there. And yeah, it's just not I don't know. We just haven't figured it out. And like I said, it's one thing that Bob said a while ago. I don't even remember what show it was on. I wasn't talking to him. Bob talks to everybody. So he was talking to somebody, but he was basically like, the point of the game is to score more goals than your opponent. And if you give up 5 goals and you score 6, hey, great. You win. And he's like, and goals are fun. So why wouldn't you just prioritize for that? And I'm playing this league now, like I'm the highest scoring team. I'm giving up a lot, but like, this is fun. And obviously if I could give up fewer goals, that would be better. It wouldn't be quite as sweaty as like a Stone League can get. But it is just kind of, that is sometimes as simple as that. Just like you got to put the ball in the net. And with the way that goals are being scored, like I realize it's not that aesthetically pleasing to see balls like pinging from left to right, or a long ball. But if it ends up in the back of the net, I'm like, hey, that's cool with me.
Yeah, I mean, the objective is to win, right? I mean, buy into the meta or hop on the meta train. Just get 3 points, right? That's what we're trying to do. But I see you brought into the basketball philosophy that Bob is employing. So that is fun. Yeah, I mean, the one thing again is your team has to be relatively strong to be able to play that way.
Sure.
If the strength compared to the other teams around, if you're like mid-table, and if you try to do it to a team that is really strong within the league, then they may hit you for like 4 or 5 goals, and we're scoring like 2 or 3. So that adaptability part, I think, is definitely key. For Bob, it is not applicable at all. I mean, he has like the best attack, and he could go toe to toe with any team. It is fun. I mean, it is the flexibility part of how you set up, what are the players that you get in. And there is a pace meta as well. People tend to use really fast-paced central midfielders. That has worked really well for quite a few seasons now. And those teams are really high scoring. So if you have lower overall ratings, but if you have pacey players, then you can definitely set it up to play that way. Yeah, I think adapting to the players that you have and to the opponent you face, I think is definitely key. So I don't mind grinding out a 1-0 result and then going out and playing a 7-5 as well. So 3 points is all that matters.
That's all that matters. That's right. That's right. Sid, I really appreciate you taking this time. I feel like I got to a point in my MFL kind of experience where I was like, I need to learn how to really play this game. And learning from you has been super, super helpful. So thank you for that. And I'm going to continue to kind of send questions your way of like, is this really wide? Is this actually narrow? And stuff like that, because there are levels to this game, and you are clearly near the top of that wherever that goes. And I'm just trying to, take another step on the ladder. So I really, really appreciate your time and your help, because it just makes the game a lot more fun. And that's kind of like why we're all here. So thank you very much.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Glad I'm able to help. And yeah, I mean, just love working with this community as a whole. A lot of people are open to providing feedback, can reach out to anyone, really. I mean, be it content creators, be it people who are running teams all throughout the pyramid. No one really says, hey, I'm not going to tell you what to do. All right. So there's some level of feedback coming from anyone who you can reach out to. So I'm glad to be part of the community, and glad to be on the show as well. Thanks for having me. And yeah, we'll definitely continue working together and shoot you up.
There we go. Let's go. Thanks everyone else for coming. Everybody here live. Appreciate all the comments during the stream. If you could, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And yeah. Good luck to everybody in the second half of the season. Hopefully, as long as you're in leagues that I'm not in, you can just climb as high as possible, and you have all the best results, all the best progression. So yeah.
Oh, sorry. Just one thing. Can I shout out something?
Of course.
Quick? So we have the Good, Bad, Ugly show going live today. So it was we were planning to have it every Friday, but unfortunately, it's going to be tonight. So it's going to be 8 p.m. UK, 4 p.m. Eastern. And it's going to be quite the cast. I believe there are going to be like 6 elite managers on the show. Wow. So if anyone can catch up and enjoy the show, please feel free to. And hopefully I'll see you guys next week on the show as well.
Who's hosting today?
Today, I think it's going to be David. So okay. We're going to have David, Kev, Bob, Hamis, Big Mr. K, and Bruce. So 6 managers.
Wow. Good luck, David. Hosting that many people is quite a task. So yeah, everybody go check that out. I assume that's on the Ramble channel. So go just search MFL Ramble on YouTube to find that. That's awesome. Can't wait. That's right. All right, cool. Thanks, everyone. You've got like 5 hours until that show-ish, a little less than 5 hours if you're here live. So get ready for that. Make sure you get outside.